وبركاته. صلي وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ونبينا محمد. William Shakespeare is one of the most important writers and playwriters in the 19th century. ويليام شكسبير كتب مسرحيات كتير which were having a message. Merchant of Venice, and at the same time some of them were only for entertainment. Merchant of Venice هديكوا كده a very brief summarization for the story of Merchant of Venice من المسرحيات الجميلة جدا. أنطونيو، أنا عندي الكاركترز بتاعتها. Antonio. Who is Antonio? Antonio is a merchant. Okay. Antonio, he wanted some money, so he took a loan. You know what's the meaning of a loan? To borrow money from a Jew. Jew يعني إيه؟ يعني يهودي. From the Jew Shylock. Jew Shylock. And he took this money in order to help his friend. He was kind and helpful. How do we know? We knew that from his action when he borrowed money or took a loan from the Jew child to help his friend to court Portia. Antonio was not able to repay the loan, and Shylock, without mercy, asked for a pound of his flesh. Shylock asked or demanded a pound. يعني ايه a pound of his flesh؟ عايز ياخد الفلوس من لحمه. Okay. Shylock was a merciless Jew, and the one who and of course Antonio was very poor, that he couldn't repay the money to the Jew, so he cannot hire a lawyer to help him. So the one who was able to help him was Portia, his friend, the wife of Antonius' friend. She dresses as a lawyer and she tried to save Antonio. Plays are always divided into acts. I have Act 1. What happens in Act 1? In Venice, there was a merchant called or named by Antonio, who worries that his ships are overdue. His colleagues offer comfort, and his young friend Bassanio Lorenzo arrived. Bassanio asked Antonio for a loan so that he can pursue the wealthy Portia, who lives in Piedmont. Antonio cannot afford the loan. Instead, he needs Bassanio to borrow the money on the security of Antonius expected shipments، لأن هو تاجر، فقالوا له خلاص أنت عندك مركبة جاية وفيها بضاعة، فاستلف لنا انت الفلوس. At payment, Portia and her maid discuss the suitors who have come in response to Portia's father's strange will. The will says بابا كان سايب وصية. الوصية دي بتقول the will says Portia may only marry a man who chooses the correct casket made from three possible options: gold, silver, and lead. Much to Portia's distress, all her suitors, all the people who proposed to her, were unsatisfactory. However, she fondly remembered a time when Bassanio came to Pilmont, and that leaves her with some hope. Bassanio approached Shylock, a Jewish money lender, about the loan. Shylock holds grudge against Antonio for his lending practice and apparent. شايلوك أصلا مش بيحب أنطونيو. Still, he offers Bassanio the loan, and instead of charging interest, seemingly as a kind of joke, he asks for a pound of Antonio's flesh if the loan is not repaid within 3 months. طبعا لأنه هو مش بيحب أنطونيو أصلا، كان عايز find a way to get rid of him. فقال لو قدروش إن هم to get the money back within 3 months, I'm gonna to take a pound of his flesh, of Antonius' flesh. The bond is agreed to. هم معتمدين على الشip who wouldn't agree to that, and Poussin prepares to leave for Pilmont with his friend. Of course, this makes us learn that not all that glitters is gold. يعني مش كل حاجة أشوفها أنبهر بيها it once may be not good. In scene 2, in Act 2, scene 1, Shylock's servant wanted to leave Shylock because he was a very bad a very bad Jew, and he wanted to go, and he asked Bassanio to employ him. Even his daughter Jessica wanted to leave home, and she doesn't only want to leave home, she wanted to leave the religion at all and become Christian to marry Antonia's friend Lorenzo. And before he departs to serve his new master, Lancelot takes a letter to Lorenzo that contains plans for Lorenzo and Jessica to elope that night. Elope means to escape for marriage. When Charlie goes out, Jessica escapes to elope, taking gold and jewels with her. The following day, Bassanio sets sail for Pilmont, while Shylock rages over the loss of his daughter and the treasure she has stolen. She took all the gold he has and the jewels with her and eloped with her beloved. Impalement, one of Portia's suitors, the Prince of Morocco, chooses the golden casket, while another, the Prince of Aragon, selects the silver or chooses the silver. Both chose the wrong casket and are unsuccessful. As Aragon leaves, Bassanio is announced. Portia's eagerly goes to greet him. After a few days, Shylock hears that his daughter Jessica has stolen wealth in Genoa, and he begins to rail bitterly against Christians. He made a war against Christians. And he reminds Antonius' friend that if the loan is not repaid on time, he will insist on the original agreement of 1 pound of flesh. ودوت كان سبب من الأسباب اللي خلاه إنه يصر إنه هو لو ما رجعولوش الفلوس في الميعاد هيطلب 1 باوند من لحمه. Back in Pelmont, Possanio chooses the lead casket, and in so doing, he wins Portia. His friend Graziano asks for Portia's maid to be his wife. Portia gives her ring to Possanio, making him promise never to give it to another. As Lorenzo and Jessica come to Pelmont, news arrive that Antonia's ship have been lost at sea. This means that the Jew, they are not going to be able to repay the money back to Shylock. Okay? And now he is bankrupt. Bankrupt, and he doesn't have money. He became very poor. They are also told that Shylock insists on the fulfillment of his bond and has Antonio arrested. Pusanio and Graziano leave in haste to help Antonio. Of course, Antonio is their friend, and he helped them once. They are supposed now to help him back. Okay. And they knew that Shylock insists on the fulfillment of his bond and has had Antonio arrested. وعرفوا إن هو is insisting on the 1 pound of flesh. طبعا because we already know that he hates Antonio. Pusanio and Graziano leave, and they went in disguise as lawyers. Portia and Nerissa resolved to follow afterwards and disguised as lawyers. And in disguise, they pretended to be lawyers. In court, طب ليه pretended؟ لأن at the time women were not allowed to work. كانش مسموح لهم إن هم يشتغلوا. ف كانش هينفع إن هم يبقوا lawyers أصلا. فهم pretended or disguised in lawyers. In court in Venice, Shylock demands his pound of flesh. The Duke, presiding over the court, seeks legal advice from the lawyer, who is Portia in disguise. Portia pleads for Shylock to have mercy on Antonio. She was trying to convince him, begging him to have mercy on Antonio. Possanio offers his wives money, which would more than pay the debt, but Shylock refuses to accept Antonio's death is only prevented. As Balthar explains, the bond is for flesh, but not for a single drop of blood. So Shylock cannot collect the bond of flesh. الحل الوحيد إن بالذار قال لهم إن البوند الاتفاق or the agreement was to take only 1 pound of Antonius flesh, but not to take with it a single drop. It was not mentioned a single drop. طبعا this was يعني impossible إن أنت to cut a flesh from someone's body without bleeding. without. So Shylock cannot collect now the pound of flesh because this will threaten the life of Anton. This mainly the incidents or what happened in the story. And his friends were able to help him from the greediness and the grudginess uh, of the Jew child. The story mainly talks about love, friendship, and the wise use of money. So my story talks about love, friendship, and the wise use of money. Whenever I think about any idea of this, I have to have evidence on what I am saying. يعني ما ينفعش أقول بس it's talk about love واسكت. طب where are the incidents that happened that showed love in the story and what was the effect of love? Friendship, the same. Wise of use of money. How do I know that there was a wise use of money? The play ends with a joyful and playful reunion, a contrast with the serious themes that dominate much of the play. Posanio, Antonio return to Pilmen to reunite with Portia and Risa, who have just arrived from Venice, and they didn't know that their wives were the lawyers who helped their friends. And of course, the idea of mercy, which we haven't seen uh, in um, in the Jew Shylock. And we have seen the friendship in Portia's disguise and her speech to Shylock, picking him to show some mercy to Antonio. هنقف لحد هنا. المرة الجاية نتكلم precisely على الكاركترز بتاعة الستوري بتاعة المسرحية or the play. Um, try to read it, you will enjoy it. It was written in 16th century in Venice. It's supposed to be a comedy. Um, as we said, the story's characters, Shylock, Portia, Possanio, Antonio, Jessica, and Prince of Morocco, all the suitors who were proposing to Portia. Okay, thank you for listening. Don't forget to share the video and good luck. Thank you.